All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 777 Television, your home for everything Matrix encryption. And I'm your host, Watson Williams. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another encryption demonstration. But this demo in particular is going to showcase our new URL data transfer system implementation of our patented encryption algorithm. We have an active utility patent with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. We have a website at matrixencryption.com where you can register and log in and check out our website. We're going to be looking more closely at the site as we go through the demo. Actually, early on and like right before the demo, in the slides immediately following this slide. And yes, so that's basically what we're going to be doing. Our website has products and services, and let's take a closer look. Okay, this is what the website looks like whenever you first arrive at the homepage. Again, this is the appearance when you are not logged in. And as you can see, just from the first take, this website is about allowing you to take control of your data. Built on first principles, Matrix Encryption is a next-generation cryptographic system designed to reduce, not replace or eliminate, but to reduce third-party dependence, restore ownership, and secure information at its source, the user. Here's a screenshot of the sidebar information. If you were to go to Google Patents and type in the patent number you see there, you would be able to pull up my patent and download it, read about it, etc., and so forth. Here's an interesting, it's not really a side note, it's rather supporting information to the general claim of utility and importance that we are making. So most of you will be aware of the company Proton Mail, and they are currently engaged in heavy advertising for their company. You may have seen some of their advertisements. If you use the Brave browser, then you almost certainly will have seen their advertisements here recently. And this is an email that that I received basically, and that anyone who, and this is public knowledge, anyone who has a Proton account but doesn't use it, the data is subject to deletion. And so how is it privacy centric to do such a thing where, you know, if you read down into this, it says we have deleted some data linked to your Proton account due to inactivity. What this means is that your account remains registered. You can still log in and still use Proton services, but all mail, files, and other personal data have been permanently erased and cannot be restored. So that's the sort of thing you have to deal with these. And you know, this is an alternative to Gmail, and this is the best they can do, right? So what we're going to be showing you is our system in which you can take control of your data. What do I mean? We're slowly working our way into it. All your all your answers will be questioned. All your questions will be answered. Here is some additional supporting evidence for the general premise that proactive encryption is useful and worthwhile, and that it is something that we should all be doing. This is a redacted email that I received as a customer of a particular animal clinic, and this clinic was hacked. Their central email server was compromised. Basically, a hacker seems to have gotten in their system and was sending erroneous emails to customers of this clinic with links, presumably something to the effect of, hey, we need your credit card number again, or so follow this link and update your information, that sort of thing. Scam, right? Phishing. And these are just things to keep in mind. If they will attack an animal clinic, then who really is safe? Okay, we're about to be learning about matrix encryption as the 13th layer and how it complements and comes before, not in terms of order of importance, but order of operations. So this is what we're about to see, is that matrix encryption operates as a 13th layer to what we have defined as 12 neoclassical security layers. And again, it operates prior to them all in terms of order of operations, and therefore doesn't compete with any of these layers, but rather complements and supports them. Okay, so this is the one slide in this whole presentation that I used AI to generate. So this is an AI generated graphic, and so what it is showing, I know it's a very busy table, but the way you can quickly sort of skim through it is the fact that we have 12 columns and then a 13th column. And the first 12 columns are all of the data security categories that people are currently using. If we take VPN, NordVPN, for example, in the third column, VPNs mask your IP address and make it so that you can operate with privacy. You can make it seem like you're in another country. And these have various benefits, but people are using them. These are a paid service. It's legal. Privacy is very desirable, and VPNs have exploded. Sorry, I don't have data available, but if you just look into it, yeah, I mean, the VPN market is growing currently. And privacy, yeah, so let's just quickly run through these. We have privacy email, like Proton Mail. There's Tutanota, now known as Tuta. Tuta. VPNs, digital signatures, identity and authentication, zero trust architecture, secure storage and file sharing, decentralized identity, where your identity is not verified through a central locus, but through the decentralized network, blockchain, which is also built on decentralization, both philosophically and in the code base. And so most of the secure categories of how data is handled online are now either touching or are intimately involved with decentralization. And the decentralization of matrix encryption is not so much about the code, but about physical distribution. And so once each person, each user, each individual has the software, possesses it, and knows how to use it and uses it in both an offline and it's sort of like a hybrid capacity where it's like you can operate offline and online and through a combination of both. And that's really what the URL update that we're going to be displaying and showcasing here today is really about, is being able to hybridize and work and encrypt offline such that you're able to pre-encrypt your data package and then upload it through our website, for instance, and it is already encrypted. So there's no keys anywhere on the site, and the recipient of the URL is going to have been given the key set independently and already. Okay, so again, just wrapping this up here. Each one of these categories don't see each other as being in competition, and why would they? For example, digital signatures like e-sign, whenever you sign a legal document online, the document is attached and it's in the e-sign form, and then you just click the box or sign your name with the cursor and you're done. But you can utilize matrix encryption with any one of these 12 categories. It's constructive and it doesn't interfere. Like in the example of digital signatures, you can attach the file, but the file can be encrypted, and you just would have a memorandum of the file itself. So like if you're not familiar with legal terminology in terms of land and transfers, leases, oil and gas leases, this sort of thing, a memorandum of a document is simply a summary. It's a legal summary of the document that leaves out all the details. Basically, it's a privacy thing. Essentially, it's another layer. It's an analog privacy layer where companies, a lot of times oil companies, will get leases from landowners and they just record the memorandum of the agreement. So the actual agreement doesn't have to be recorded. Anyway, that's a side note. Let's continue. Okay, let's come back to the home page and take a quick look at the buy button that we have here. If you read the fine print, you'll see that Matrix Seraphim includes a 10% tax, it's non-refundable, and the product expires internally on New Year's Day of 2030. Now, I personally wrote the payment system. In fact, I had to salvage it and otherwise upgrade it, update it. It was not working properly in the sense that because we use PayPal as our payment processor, what was happening before was that the user was being automatically routed back to our website, so there was no webhook verification. And now we're using webhooks, and what happens is you check out with PayPal and then you get routed back to a waiting page on our site. And on that page, you are waiting for the transaction to be verified. And what that means in particular is there's an asynchronous function that is checking every second to see if the transaction has made it into the database yet. Once the financial transaction is independently verified by our payment system, It then writes the transaction with the order ID, the product name, the webhook, and the token that actually gets you to the download page. And once it finds that everything is in order, then the gate is opened, and you are then presented with the secure download page. On the secure download page, you can obviously download your product. This is a digital download, and it's standalone offline software. We're going to see it later on in this video. And once you pay, you get rerouted to the download page after the webhook is verified. You get an email from us with a backup link to the secure download, and you also get an email from PayPal, obviously. And whatever email you used to check out with is the email that will be sent those messages. And you have 24 hours before the secure URL link expires in order to download your product. You have plenty of time, and that essentially concludes what I have to say on this topic, except that we only see here one product, but this is our premier product, and I have spent a lot of time updating the algorithm, and this is our premier desktop product. I don't say that lightly. It is, if you read the patent, the capabilities of the desktop app now are far beyond the originally patented version. Okay, continuing with the tour of the site. If you scroll down, you're going to see a link to a free version of Matrix Seraphim. So we call this the Freedom Event 2026, and all through the calendar year up until September 21st of this year, you can purchase Matrix Seraphim, our top of the line triple orthogonal, statistically independent key set, patented encryption technology, for free. And that product expires internally on New Year's Day of next year. So it's very generous what we're offering. And beyond that, you can download the originally patented version for free also. We're giving a lot away for free, and we have a significant reveal at the end of this video that will detail yet another extension of beneficence, and like what we're willing to give away for free to try to get people interested in what we're doing, what we're trying to build. And lastly, our website has a forum in development, like a Facebook type of deal where you have a public wall, friends lists, private messages. Yeah, we're building all of that out as well, and it will be truly privacy oriented, unlike Facebook, although they're getting better. Nevertheless, we have embedded videos on our channel that you can watch and learn and be entertained, and we also have a donate button. As I mentioned previously, our payment processor is PayPal, and if you are feeling generous and magnanimous, you can donate through the PayPal button. That's going to wrap it up for the video, or rather the homepage introduction. Okay, continuing with the introduction to the site, we of course have a registration and login system where you need to register and log in. You have name, username, email, password, confirm password. There's a user agreement for the trial service. You get a 1 month free trial, And there is a CAPTCHA. You copy and paste that or type it. I believe it should be all caps. And then there's a logic question. In that case, it was true or false. 1 plus 1 equals 3. So that's false. You would just type in false and then hit register. Once you do that, you're going to get a confirmation email. Follow the link in that email that confirms your email address and allows you to log in. You then go to the login page and log in to the system for the first time. Once you log into the system, you're going to see a flashed message that says you were successfully logged in, and you see partially the bottom of the homepage that we previously saw with the register counter and the Discord link, subtly hinting at the fact that the homepage looks different when you're not logged in versus when you are logged in. So when you're logged in, you're going to see these buttons, and these buttons include an About Us page, a forum. As I believe we mentioned earlier, we have a social media forum, and we also have a digital wallet page that is still in development. We have to implement tiered subscriptions to the online service before it will make sense to integrate cryptocurrency and NFT avatars. And we have a lot more to say about that at a later date. Now, you also have the encrypt and decrypt buttons. Those are your service tabs. And then there's the products page and the Codex Manager dashboard that is an optional feature whereby you can save the codex, or a codex rather. You can save one codex. The codex is part of the encryption algorithm. And yeah, that's basically it. You also have a profile page and the logout button. Okay, so moving right along, this is an encryption demonstration, so let's go through the encryption portal. Here we are at the encryption gateway that needs to be updated a bit, but it has 3 options where you can upload a file, you can use the factory codex, or you can upload a codex. We'll take a closer look at that momentarily. Yeah, so I clicked on the upload file page, and it just has 2 buttons there where you choose the file from your computer. You upload your encrypted data, and in order to have data to upload, we need to create some encrypted data. So this is the actual Matrix Encryption Freedom Event product that you can download for free right now from the homepage. And we are logging in. We're going to select plaintext instead of file encryption, and we're going to go with Codex 90 instead of Codex 81. I know I'm flying through this here, but I just entered in the name of a 90 character codex. It has 90 unique characters, and now we're activating the non-deterministic layer called holographic character mapping, and there's 2 flavors of it. I activated statistical ghost, and now we are uploading a text file called 640 so named because it has 640 characters in the file. It's just a summary of Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. And so here is another optional layer called sandwiching. We are activating sandwiching. We'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. And if you look down there, you see holographic composition 10.87%. We'll talk more about that later. I just can't get sidetracked. But there's a lot happening here, and the encryption is now done since we uploaded the master key. We encrypted, and now we're saving the encryption to a file and opening that file. So 640_E is the encryption that we just created of that text data. And now we have a file that we can upload to the website. With our file attached, we can now create the URL. Here we're just reviewing real quick. There's the original message, there's the encryption, and now we upload, store, and create the URL. The URL consists of the main part of the website, followed by /URL messaging / the alphanumeric token. And so you get this long alphanumeric string that is extremely difficult for someone to accidentally land on, and it comes with a currently I have it set to be a 7-digit integer, so you get a 7-digit access code that you need to use in order to access and also later on to delete the data from the database. We'll take a closer look at that later. After you have saved the URL to your computer, you can then open the file and look at it. And here we're just double checking that it is the same data, same URL, same access code. You have the option to clear data, but there's nothing to clear in this case because we uploaded it. If you encrypt on the fly and then create a URL, then there's data in a table that needs to be deleted. But in this case, there's nothing yet for us to delete. So let's go ahead and do another encryption and create another URL link. This time we're going to use the custom codex panel, and currently you can store one codex in your personal account, and the other option is to upload a codex, which is what we are going to do. So in that case, you have to paste your codex in the codex field, and don't forget that you can create your own key sets with the desktop app. I don't cover that in this video, but I have shown it before, and it's very easy for you to just register an account and create your own key sets. And once you have them, you can use them. And here we have pasted the first sentence of that summary that we have for Journey to the Center of the Earth. We then encrypt with the key set being the codex and the key. The desktop app actually has 3 keys, which we breezed through in the desktop demo that we just saw. There was a part where it said shuffle key, like do you want to use a shuffle key? That's the 3rd key. Anyways, we have just created our second URL link. It is different from the first URL link that we're showing on the left-hand side, and the access code is also different, but technically they can technically be the same but only because they are mapped to the URL. So the URLs are unique, and the access code is almost always unique, like 99 point, well, whatever that would be, like 1 out of 10 million chance of getting the same access code. So yeah, now we need to save to a file. So we have saved the second URL. We're now opening it. It ends in WUW and has that access code 9494999. And we delete the encryption from the database that is used whenever you encrypt. So, excuse me, from the table. So there are various tables in the database, and we just deleted the workbench location where the encryption was created and allowed to populate on the results page. And then we created the URL, which stores to another table the URL token, your user ID, the access code, and everything is cross-referenced later. And so we have deleted the data from the workbench table, and now we have 2 URLs. Now we're ready to move on with the second phase of this demonstration, where we imagine giving these URL links and the access codes. You just share them as text files with somebody through any avenue you like. Once they receive them, since they already have the key set, so you construct your key sets offline with Matrix Seraphim, and then you're able to share key sets with people, establishing secure communications between parties. And the thing that really makes the system strong and potentially unique is that everything is subdivided. So the keys never exist in the same location as the encryption. So whenever you send encrypted, or rather like a message on, say, Facebook Messenger, it's all automatically done for you, which means that the keys are embedded somewhere in Facebook's code base, okay? Which technically means both that somebody else could potentially get those keys, and also you personally don't have control over those keys. And so when the recipient of one of these URLs is ready to recover the data, they take the key set and they take the URL, they paste it into the browser, hit enter, and it takes you to this page where you need to enter the access code. And again, remember that the URL token is randomized, but there's nothing stopping anyone technically from, if they had the URL or if they randomly brute force stumbled onto it, then what protects the encrypted data is the access code panel here. And if the code is incorrectly entered 3 times in a row, it locks the encryption out and it cannot be accessed. And so you simply, authorized parties are able to access it. If you mess up 1 or 2 times and then you get it correct on the 3rd time, then it resets the counter and then you have like 3 fresh entries, but you don't really need them because in the same browser session, once you enter the access code in correctly, which you can't do incorrectly if you just copy and paste it. If you're not like me and you can't no-look type on the number pad, then you will simply copy and paste the access code. Once you do that, the browser remembers, I'm sorry, the system like remembers your browser, and you don't have to enter the access code again, but you don't really need to, because once you get the data, as we're about to see, then you just delete it out, and you don't have to worry about anything. So you have the access code in there, enter it, the gate opens, and we pass into the page with the encrypted data. And it is identical to what we had there, the 199 ending in 0836. And you see we used the URL. You can save to a file, of course, or you can decrypt server side. And then at the bottom, you can delete the encryption. So what you ideally would want to do is save to a file and then just delete it from the database so that you have the encrypted data, you take it offline, and then you decrypt it with matrix seraphim offline. So now we have gone to the second URL link, and we are going to copy and paste the access code for the second link in and view that data. So, we're at the link ending in WUW. We enter that code, and here we are at the encryption of that first sentence of the Journey to the Center of the Earth summary. Now, in this case, we are going to decrypt server side, with the opposite being client side. That's essentially what you do when we mean offline and locally. That's what you do client side. This is your offline bubble. And nevertheless, whenever we decrypt with the same codex and the same key, we get back the original message, and we can then save that decryption if necessary. And finally, you want to delete the stored data because you're able to export it and keep it locally. You don't have keys online. Those keys that we just pasted in and used to decrypt, they were used but not stored. And of course, they may be like cached somewhere on the server temporarily, but there again, the ideal scenario is to hybridize and to only even use the keys offline. So this is like the option. These are the options that you have. So with the correct code pasted in, we clear data storage, which clears both the raw text data that we recovered, and it clears the encryption and the URL. So if of course, we were never logged in as the recipient, and if we go back and try to follow the URL link again, it says data not found, traveler, because we just deleted it all. We got what we needed, and then we erased every trace of that transaction. All right, and recall that we haven't done anything yet with the first link. We opened it, and now You see what I referred to earlier. We didn't have to type the access code in this time because our session was still active, and all we have to do now is save to a file as the recipient and then delete the data. So as the recipient, we have downloaded the encrypted data and we're ready to use it, use the key set to figure out what it means. We're the recipient and we don't know what the data is, but we know what to do. And again, once we download our data and we can handle it client side, we then take the access code and delete that encryption from the table. Okay, we just deleted it. Notice again that you can delete before decrypting server side, or you can delete after decrypting server side. In either case, you have to use the access code, and once you delete it, that data no longer exists. Not the link, and not the encryption, nor the keys. And so let's do a demonstration showing that in fact a wrong key set will not recover the encrypted data. And so let's go with the inverse factory codex and the key we've been using. One of the keys we've been using. You have not seen and will not see the key set used to encrypt this data in this video, but here a wrong key set results in gibberish, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. Notice that we did not inherit an error from using an incorrect key set. In many other systems such as AES, which I have seen firsthand, whenever you use a wrong key, you get a runtime error, which is a huge tell that that key was incorrect. But with matrix encryption, getting gibberish doesn't necessarily even mean that the keys were incorrect. And I could go off tangentially on that topic for the next 30 minutes, but let's just keep going. Now we are in the decryption program of Matrix Seraphim, the Freedom Event free program, and we're well underway to decrypting the data properly. We have to use the shuffle key, personal shuffle key associated with this account, and then save to file, save it as tester D, and open that sucker. And so here we see the sandwiching junk characters that get sandwiched onto the front end and the back end, and then whenever you activate shuffling, all of the relevant characters, the relevant data and the irrelevant data are all shuffled together. And whenever you use holographic character mapping, it also injects ghost characters, like ghost digits, all throughout. And it's very technical. And so we just looked, and the tester D and the 640 files are identical down to the last character, and so we recovered the original data using the correct key set. It was done offline, and we exported that encrypted data that we were able to access as authorized parties, and here we are having recovered the data locally. The website just acts as a temporary blind storage facility. Okay, so that concludes the URL demonstration in which we learned, if you stayed to the end, how to encrypt and decrypt using our URL delivery system and the URL data transfer system doesn't require the recipient to have an account or be logged in to retrieve and delete secure data. If you fail to enter the correct access code 3 times in a row, that URL becomes locked and the data inaccessible. Correctly entering the access code bypasses subsequent access code entries for that session. I mentioned that. And the number of entry attempts is reset to 3. So if you incorrectly enter the access code trying to get to the data, that takes the number of attempts down from 3 to 2. If you fail again, you have one more try, and then you need to enter in the correct code on the 3rd try. Otherwise, that URL becomes unusable for security purposes. So if you think about it, all you have to do as the valid recipient is to copy and paste the URL, copy and paste the access code, and you're in. So there's no guesswork. And we implemented the access code because even though the URL is very secure in the sense that it's a long alphanumeric string, randomized, no one is going to just randomly accidentally land on that page. A bad actor is going to have to be flying through billions and billions and billions and trillions and quadrillions and septillions of possibilities to even conceivably get close to landing on your secure URL link. But even if they do, they still have only 3 tries to type in the correct 7-digit access code. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. And so if you imagine just a computer trying to brute force, it's impossible because it gets locked out after the 3rd try. So I'm very proud of the logic that we implemented there. It's actually related to a bug that I found when sending multiple URL links and having the recipient look at them all consecutively. I found that initially the logic had a bug where it was deleting the wrong URL link and the wrong encrypted data. It's basically like the one right before it. And so there was just a little confusion that needed to be cleared up, and I resolved it by introducing the access code. And so the access code gets stored with the URL token and the encryption whenever the URL link is created, and it is then used, the access code, as a cross-reference methodology in order to ensure that whenever you are ready to delete your data, that the proper row gets deleted. It's completely deductive, and there's no chance of it ever like deleting the wrong row. So there is finally a smooth handling between modes, whether you are uploading your data or encrypting on the fly. The system is able to accommodate both paths, and actually when you get to results pages, it's funneled multiple pathways funneling into a common results page. So the next improvement will be to upgrade the upload file logic so that significantly larger file sizes can be handled beyond the standard session allowance that caps at around 4 to 5 kilobytes. So currently, if you were to upload an encryption that was about 5,000 digits, give or take, it might give you a 502 bad gateway error, but I have encountered this type of error before, and I know exactly how to fix it, and I'm going to implement that fix this week, the first full week in May, and today is May 2nd, and we essentially have to avoid over reliance on sessions, Flask sessions, which is like a browser sort of a thing that's capped and uses cookies of a definitive size, and if you upload something greater than what the cookie can handle, the cookie crumbles and your data doesn't get attached. And so it's just a simple update basically to use a database implementation rather than Flask sessions. And okay, so finally the reveal. Again, we give away a 1-month free trial. We're letting you can download our premier product absolutely free and use it for the remainder of the calendar year, and it doesn't expire until New Year's Day of next year. You can download the originally patented version for free, and now I'm informing you that we're going to extend the free subscription from 1 month to 3 years. As soon as we do this update for the 502 bad gateway, we're going to simultaneously be adjusting the term limit of the free trial. So if you register, I'm probably going to run this until September 21st. If you register an account, you're going to get a unprecedented, unheard of 3 years free trial of our patented encryption service. And yeah, what is this last part? Adding functionality to the web service so that it will achieve parity and be just as capable as the desktop app. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.